What's up, guys? Dr. Seth here to solve more of your powerlifting problems. So yesterday I posted a reel and YouTube short on scapular motion and how we should train scapular motion if we want our shoulders and our upper back to work better. And the reason I say this, the reason I say that training scapular motion can improve our shoulders is because where the arm goes isn't going to be dictated by just the shoulder socket. It's going to be dictated by the scapular orientation, because how the scapula is orientated can change where the socket lies. And if we change where the socket is, we can change where the arm goes. And even further up the chain, if we change the rib cage orientation, we can change where the scapula can go. So shoulder motion is a product of rib cage orientation, scapular orientation, and then the shoulder socket itself. So if our shoulders suck, if there's something going on with the shoulders, if we improve our scapula's ability to move, if we improve scapular control, we can improve what our arm can do and how our shoulder performs, and how our shoulder functions, and how we are able to use our arm, shoulder, and upper back in the lifts, in our training, and in life. Now, in that reel, I had someone comment saying that they heard that doing scap pull-ups and doing segmented upper back work, so like setting scaps, pulling, or like setting scaps, then pulling, is bad for us because it's training a bad movement pattern, because of course we want to be able to move the scapula and the humerus together. Of course we need that rhythm, and of course that should be the end goal. But segmenting the upper back, yes, it is not an ideal pattern for athletic movement. Yes, it's not an ideal pattern for life. Like anytime we have to reach overhead, we don't want to go like blah, 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 blah. We're not fucking robots. We do want to be able to move smoothly, fluidly with scap and humerus at the same time. But segmenting upper back work, segmenting scapula movement from the humerus can be a fantastic tool if someone is lacking control of where their scapula is going. If they don't have control over where their shoulder blade is, if they don't have control of that shoulder blade orientation, asking that shoulder blade to move independently of the humerus can be a friggin' fantastic way of building that control. And it's like, someone shouldn't segment all of their upper back work. Someone shouldn't set their scaps first, then pull for everything they're doing. It is just a tool to better help them build that connection and better help them build that scapular control. And even then, it's like, if someone has a hard time finding their lats, if someone has a hard time getting their lat to contract, setting the scap first can be phenomenal for helping them build that skill. Because if we think about it, the biggest difference between the lat and the teres major, it's not the line of pull. It's not that the teres major has better leverage with the shoulder in more extension. It's not that teres major is going to do more pulling from the top. Yes, it does do that, but that's not the biggest difference. The biggest difference between the lat and the teres major is that the teres major runs from scapula to humerus, whereas the lat runs from rib cage to humerus. So it's crossing both the scapulothoracic joint and the scapulohumeral joint. So by segmenting the scapular motion, we can then set scap by pulling with lat to get lat to take more of the brunt, and then learn to use lat with our vertical pulling. We can set scap with lat, then learn to use more lat with our rowing. So by setting the scap first, by using the lat to set the scap, by taking the teres major out of the initial pull, we can then bias more of that work towards the lat. Now obviously teres major is still going to contribute, and obviously teres major will still have more leverage overhead, but by segmenting our scap motion, we can then teach our lats to work better so that we're better able to use them in movement when we aren't setting the scap. Because again, it's like with neurology, neurons that fire together wire together, and if we are used to firing only to teres major, if we're used to getting teres major to do the brunt of the work with all of our pulling, of course it's going to be the thing that's doing the brunt of the work with all of our pulling. So we need to find a way to teach our lat to contract, and teaching our lat to contract with segmented upper back work can be a friggin' fantastic tool. And again, segmenting is not the pattern that we want to establish. Segmenting is a way to teach ourselves to establish a better pattern later on when we go back and we put it all together in one smooth, fluid motion. Because the segmented movement isn't the end goal, but it's a tool to get to the end goal better and more effectively. Because if you have zero control over your scap, you're gonna have to build that control somehow, and segmenting the motion is a great friggin' way to do that. So guys, don't just write things off as that's a bad movement pattern, don't train it. And like, obviously there is some patterns that are less ideal than others. But if we can employ those patterns, if we can use those patterns as a strategy to get to an end goal, to establish a better pattern, to establish better movement, to establish better control of movement, by all means, go for it. And it's like, we can think of countless other examples where like things might not be ideal because we want things to work together. But like, if we're just training shoulder rotation, if someone can't do anything with their shoulder other than this, that can be a good start point. Obviously that isn't the best tool. Obviously we need more progression, but we got to start somewhere if someone has zero ability. So guys, don't be afraid of training. Don't be afraid of regressing to where you need to regress to accomplish the goal. Just make sure that you're progressing away from that regression to get back to the big picture. Thank you for watching, guys. Share this with a friend, like, comment, subscribe. Peace.